Hey guys and girls, welcome back to another beautiful video on this beautiful channel, on this beautiful day. How you guys and girls doing? Hope you're doing great as always. Please check out the description box for all the nice links. Also drop a like, subscribe if you like the content. I want to go through some things today with you guys, especially about some stuff I've been changing just a little bit, small teensy weensy numbers. So if you go into your player.cpp from the last video, I basically just changed some values for the hitbox. So the ones in the green, this is how it should look, and this is how it did look. All right, so you probably want to just change these, just increase the velocity or the acceleration and increase the deceleration to make it a little more snappy. Also fix the hitbox a little bit so it looks a little better and works a little better as well. And I changed the speed for the walking animations pretty much. So that's pretty much it for this, the player class. Also changed some stuff in the shader, but we'll get to that. Let me just go through all the regular classes first. So player, game state. Let's check out the view, compare with unmodified. And let's see what I changed. So mostly I added this thing here. Now I wanted to do this kind of on while working with you guys, just in the video. But I kind of did this yesterday. I was just playing around with it. I thought, what the hell? I'll just go through it with you guys anyway. So you don't have to stick with me here and just code all of this. So I'm just going to close this and I'm going to go through it with you. Here we go. All right, let's go down to where we update the view. That's where I added all of this. This is basically all the new code, okay? But before we go to that, I'm just going to change this value here to 10. Okay, so when we move our mouse, it's not that big of a deal. It's not moving too much. But you still get that little effect. So that's kind of cool. We'll keep that. But basically what this is, this makes sure that the camera doesn't go out of the screen, doesn't go out of the bounds. Now, remember, keep in mind, these two values you see here, the 3000, they aren't actually correct. That's just some number I gave it, just so it would kind of work for me right now, just to test it out. But here, this is the important part. So if our view center minus the view size divided by 2, that will give us the leftmost position of the view, right? If our view is a square like this whole square, this leftmost part, this is where we're going to check. So if that's less than 0, we're obviously outside of the screen. Then we're just going to set the position to 0 plus the half of the view's size. We're setting the center. Remember, we're always working with the center position. So we're setting the center to 0 plus half of its size. So that will center right here, right at the bounds of the screen, or the world, or whatever. And then we'll retain the Y value of that. Now the same thing here. Okay, you have the else if because it can't be out this side and this side at the same time. So we have else if the view center plus half of the size, so the rightmost part, all right, divided by 2, obviously. You want to remember that because the size is all of this. You want to get the half of the size. So from the center plus half the size is right here. If that's outside of, say 3000, but we'll get the world size eventually. Outside, then we set the position to 3000 minus half of the size. So the center is in this. So the view is centered right here, right at the bounds. And just remember this, okay? Just remember this. This exact same thing for Y. So I'm not going to explain why. It's the exact same thing. All you have to do is copy paste this and just change every view get center Y and view get size Y. Okay? That's all you want to do. That's all you want to do. And you want to retain the X values for the center. Okay? Because you won't want to change that in the Y axis. So once you've done that, you're pretty good to go. You're all right. You're pretty much good to go. So let's see. Also, we have some issues from the previous videos about settings. I got a nice comment from you guys in the last one from Alvin, I think, where he said that, you know, we need to fix the main menu and everything after the settings and stuff like that. But we'll get to that eventually, I promise. I just want to show you what's going on. So if we start a new game, we have our lighting. Also, I forgot to show you the fragment shader, but I made the night light kind of bluish and your character's light is just natural whitish. And then I added these textures. So I made these myself. All of the textures you see here I made myself, except for the character, which I bought. But the wall thing works, all right? So this is a 2-story wall, basically. You can be behind it. You can kind of peek out behind it. It gives you some perception of depth, and the bottom part is the only one with collision, so that's why this works. All right, and then I added some shadow blocks. Also added a few different types of blocks. I think I added a dirt type block here, maybe a flower. I don't know if we saw that before, but it kind of works. I was just playing around, and I just want to show you this mouse thing isn't as intense anymore. It still works, but it's not as intense. But you see, we're not going outside of the bounds. See that? And the same thing for the top. And the right and bottom work. I already checked that out. So see, we're not going outside of the bounds. So that's exactly what we want. All right? And there you go. There you go. I haven't added textures for walls going this way and that way yet, but bear with me, I will. I'm just making these on my own time. I also want to show you how I make these. So what I do is I usually go in here. I go to a page called pixelart.com or .com and just draw here. You can draw pixel art any way you want. You got layers, you got all your colors, you can make your own palettes. You can even open an image, a PNG image, which is really cool. I could just open my tile sheet up and I can like draw directly on this if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. But this is basically something you can do. You can kind of zoom in and out and just work on here, work on it right here. If I want to make a corner piece, I could just do it right here, which is kind of cool. I haven't really done this before. Yo, that's pretty awesome. Okay, so yeah, that works, right? And then I usually go to a image editor called pixlr.com. I've used this for ages. It's really good. You can just open a tile. If I save a little tile, for example, if I usually save my tiles on like temporary, I can just show you how I do it. You might want to open this one, for example. You just copy, paste it in here. You place it correctly wherever you want it, like that. And just make sure they're exactly where they're supposed to be. I even have a background thing. I used to. I don't know where that is, but you can have kind of backgrounds to guide where you want to put your tiles. So basically, that's how I do it. And it really works for me now. That didn't really work out well, but that's how it is. Hopefully you can work with that as well. I'm just making my tiles. I know I'm not an artist, but as long as they can represent what I want them to represent, I'm good with it. So that's cool. So let's just go through the fragment shader quickly. You can do this here as well, compare with unmodified. So basically all I did was I changed this value. So I made it a little more bluish. That's all I did. Just made it a little more bluish. And then since that gives us a nice night light. But I wanted to show you, if you don't like the darkness, you can increase the ambient light. So we can just put it 0.8, 0.8, 0.8. Maybe make it a little warmer, 1.0. So if you want it by day, for example, we'll make a day-night cycle as well. It'll be cool. So now it's pretty much day, right? More or dawn or whatever. So it looks a little better. Not as dark, but you still got this little light ring going on. If you want it to be completely day, you could set all of these to 1 and you'll be good to go. So pretty much how that works. I'm going to keep it kind of nightish because I like how the light looks. So there you go. Pretty much that's it. And this video, I want to get a good idea of what we're going to do next. All right. I want to do a weapon next. Okay. I want to make sure we can attack somewhat, even though we don't have enemies. I want to make sure we have some kind of weapon animation going, but I'm at odds at how I'm going to do that, because we can make a class for weapon, which we will eventually, but that's going to be the item weapon, right? This weapon I'm talking about is just a visual weapon showing you that you have a weapon equipped, you have something in your hand, and you can swing it. All right, and I saw a good example of that in a game I played recently. I don't remember what it's called, but it's a 2D top-down game. And when you move your mouse, it kind of rotates with your mouse, and it's just a nice visual representation of a weapon. So I just want to start off by doing that. Let's see, we got our variables right here. Let's make a SF sprite weapon sprite, I guess. We could do that, weapon sprite, since we will have a primary weapon, but that's going to be of the class weapon, right? Okay. Just to play around with this, let's open this up. And let's just load it in. All right. It doesn't matter where you load it in. Let's just try it out. This weapon sprite dot load. No. Set texture. And then we'll create a little texture here. SF texture. Weapon texture. Like this. And then we'll do weapon texture dot load from file. And I think I have a weapon texture here actually. In resources, images, sprites, player. Right there, sword. Okay, sword.png. So resources, images, sprites, player. Resources, images, sprites, player. Sword.png. Okay, this is just a little test, and then we're just gonna do a weapon texture right there. Once that's done, we have that texture loaded into the sprite. And cool. All right. That's good. And then we're just going to go down to the render. And we're going to render it in front of, if we have the shader, target.draw this weapon sprite shader, since we want it to be affected by the light as well. And we're gonna set those right there. Has texture true. Else we're gonna render it right below. All right, so else weapon sprite. Very good. Okay, that looks cool. Now we just need to update it. This weapon sprite dot set position. This hit box component dot, or this get center. Let's just put it at the center of the player, and let's run this. Let's see if it actually loads the texture, and it runs. A little longer video, but I just want to make sure we did something today. All right, that looks, that at least it's there, but I don't think it could load the texture. I don't think it found the texture. I didn't do it properly. Resources, images, sprites. Let's just see. Resources, images, sprites, player, sword.png. Player, sprites, images, resources. I think it's because this is deleted. So let's just put this out in player. Right there, weapon texture. This weapon texture. Hopefully this will work. Let's just make an if statement around this as well. If not, std cout error player could not load weapon texture. New line. Okay, let's run this. Okay, that did load it. Oh, there we go. All right, so we got the sword right there. Now, at least we have a visual representation of a sword. Now, what I want to do is I just want to make sure that we can rotate it. So I'm going to set its origin somewhere around here. And I'm just going to make sure I can rotate it when I have my moving around my mouse. And then when we attack, it's just going to do a little swing just to represent an attack. It's just going to be very simple. Nothing special. Oh, that looks interesting. That's going to be an interesting fix. I do have an idea for that though. But yeah, that's cool. Anyway, there you go, guys and girls. Thank you for watching this video. In the next one, we're going to keep working on this probably. And check out some other issues. And yeah, we're pretty much going to work with some gameplay stuff for a while now. And then we'll get back to the menu, fixing all that stuff. So yeah, there you go. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. And I'll see you guys and girls in the next one, right? Bye-bye.